The Baroque period, from the 17th to 18th century, is characterized by elaborate compositions, extravagant expressions of subject matter, and dynamism in artwork. While the Baroque movement began in Italy, it also occurred throughout the Netherlands, France, Spain, and other parts of Europe and the Americas. One highly notable Baroque artist in Spain was the painter Diego Velázquez, whose work revolutionized the Spanish Baroque scene. One of his most iconic portraits was of his enslaved assistant, Juan de Pareja. How did Velázquez's impact extend not just to the art scene of Spain in the 17th century, but to Juan de Pareja's short yet profound career as a free artist? The Baroque occurred simultaneously with the emergence of the Counter-Reformation. The Council of Trent endeavored to reaffirm Catholic doctrine, reform corruption, and revitalize Catholicism. For art, the Counter-Reformation meant using art of all forms as propaganda to reawaken the passion for Catholic beliefs. This new basis fueled the development of Spain's golden age of art and literature. Let's look at two of Velázquez's pieces, starting with the portrait of Juan de Pareja, created in 1650. Now, when looking at this portrait, there's so much to be discovered of the Baroque style and how Velázquez exemplifies it. The intense chiaroscuro, highlighting de Pareja's face, the spirituality of the upright and kind-faced de Pareja being communicated through realism, as if he is a religious figure, also indicating the abandonment of the mannerism style. While this portrait is simple in composition, Velázquez's detail and effort to create that three-dimensional illusion puts de Pareja in an extravagant and grand light. Now let's look at another one of his masterpieces, Las Meninas. This piece was created in 1656 and depicts Infanta Margaret Teresa, the young daughter of King Philip IV and Queen Mariana. This piece, with its array of gazes, postures, and even the reflection of the king and queen in a mirror in the background, perfectly showcased the emotional and sentimental appeal of the Baroque movement. We are being pushed towards the matters of the heart in this piece, not the mind. Velázquez utilizes a complex composition of figures, where the viewer's position is subtly placed inside the world he has created. In this interaction, the reality of the scene is enhanced. As an official court painter for the king at this time, Velázquez was given the platform to push the norms of the Spanish art world, to transform the very rigid, static, and formal compositions of royal portraits. And finally, we'll look at the Baptism of Christ, created by Juan de Pareja in 1667. It is a splendid scene, its central focus being John the Baptist baptizing Jesus in the River Jordan. From what we've observed previously, we can really see Velázquez's influence shine through this piece, from the chiaroscuro used to push the divine figures into the bright light, to the thoughtful composition that does not lack in its detail. This painting showcases de Pareja's skill in rendering human forms and capturing the spirituality of the divine, contrasting the reverence and humanity of the earthbound in color and in lighting. De Pareja succeeds in demonstrating the artistic skill he developed under Velázquez's mentorship, particularly in his use of light and realism. With that being said, de Pareja carries his own distinct perspective as a freed Afro-Hispanic artist navigating Spain's golden age art scene. The piece is rich with diagonal sightlines, pockets of interacting figures, and sfumato combined with sharper lighting. The artistic journey from Velázquez to de Pareja encapsulates the transformative power of mentorship, creativity, and culture exchange during Spain's golden age. Velázquez, with his innovative techniques and keen attention to humanity, broke conventions of traditional court portraiture and left a lasting mark on the Baroque movement. His influence extended beyond his royal commissions, shaping the artistic development of de Pareja, whose own work reflects both Velázquez's mastery and de Pareja's unique artistic identity, illuminating the richness of Baroque art. I'd like to read an excerpt from I, Juan de Pareja, the award-winning children's novel. After a short time, the king rose and went toward the wall. He stood hesitating a moment, and then turned a canvas toward him. It was mine. In the late light, the faithful hounds shone out from the dark background, sunlight on their glistening hides, light in their big, loving dark eyes. His Majesty stood transfixed. He had never seen that canvas before. I threw myself on my knees before him. I beg mercy, sire, I pleaded. The painting is mine. I've been working secretly all these years, with bits of canvas and color, copying the works of master, to learn from them, and trying some original subjects by myself. I know very well that this is against the law. Master has never even suspected and has nothing to do with my treachery. I am willing to endure whatever punishment you mete out of me. I remained on my knees, begging the Virgin to remember my promise, praying and asking her forgiveness and her help. Opening my eyes, I saw the feet of His Majesty moving nervously about. Evidently, he did not know what to reply. What should we do with this disobedient slave? I heard his voice lisping and stuttering as he turned toward Master. Still on my knees, I saw Master's neat and small feet, in their shoes of cordovan leather, approach and place themselves in front of my picture. He studied it some time in silence, and the king waited. Then Master spoke. Have I your Majesty's leave to write an urgent letter before I answer? You have it. Master returned to his desk, and I heard his quill scratching against the paper. His Majesty returned to his chair and threw himself into it. I remained where I was, praying with all my might. Master rose, and his feet moved toward me. Get up, Juan, he said. He put a hand under my elbow and helped me to my feet. He was looking at me with the gentle affection he had always shown me. He took my hand and put a letter into it. I have worn that letter, sewed into a silk envelope, and pinned inside my shirt ever since. The letter said, To whom it may concern, I have this day given freedom to my slave, Juan de Pareja, who shall have all the rights and honors of a free man. And further, I hereby name him my assistant, with the duties and salary thereto pertaining. Diego Rodriguez de Silva y Velázquez. Master took the letter gently from my hand after I had read it, and took it to the king, who, reading, smiled radiantly. It was the first time in all those years that I had seen His Majesty smile. His teeth were small and uneven, but that smile seemed to me as beautiful as any I had ever seen. The letter was given back to me, and I stood there, tears of joy streaming from my eyes. You were saying, sire, something about a slave? Inquired Master softly. I have no slave.